We'll check a WFRN What to Wear Weather Channel forecast coming up in not too many minutes. But before we get there, it's time for Triple P with Trisha.
Yeah, we're learning about, we're walking on waves, learning about new waves to parent our children. And I learn something every week on Triple P with Trisha.
You do?
Triple P Parenting in Elkhart County. Yeah, it's just so much good stuff. Trish, thank you for taking time out. You bless us as daddies, Cody and I, but tens and tens of thousands of other people, I'm sure, as well. So thank you.
Aw, thanks.
We look forward to this very much. Are you ready for, how do things now with everyone going back into school? How does that impact what you guys do? Do you see does it impact?
It does, yeah. A lot of our providers work in the school system within Elkhart County.
Okay.
So that's why we
cool.
have more events during the school year, because a lot of it happens within the schools.
It's like this network of people working together to bless kids.
Yes.
Really cool.
Yes. Like all over. We've got people in the healthcare system, private therapies, places like CAPS, Goshen Health, churches, schools.
You know, so often, and I'll just speak for myself at times, but so often we watch mainstream media or a lot of the news out there, and the world seems dark. But if you just lift up your head from the media stream and look around, and there's good people doing good things, it's really beautiful. Yeah. It's really beautiful.
We're glad that you're one of them and that you're here with us this morning. Yeah. What do we have this morning?
Today we're talking about sharing.
Oh.
So,
sharing, helping kids to share?
Helping kids learn how to share,
okay.
yes.
Now, is that really a need? I mean, they just kind of naturally share everything with each other all the time, you know?
You must have some really amazing kids.
That'd be like the alternate universe.
I only have 2 kids, and they struggle with sharing, and I can't imagine a family with larger kids on how interesting that could be.
And no matter how happy and wonderful you remember your childhood as being, I'll speak for myself, it's not hard to remember when I was the same way as a kid. Like, yeah, boy, there's just this territorial thing. Sometimes and I'm sure this was me when I was a kid, but sometimes I'll say in the past to one of my kids are getting older now, but I'll say, now you've got hundreds of toys and books and games in this house, and I haven't seen you play with this one since I don't know when, but now when your brother or your sister starts using it, suddenly it's the one thing you must have.
Yep.
Yeah.
That possessiveness.
Yes. And then I think, okay, Lord, how am I struggling with this on a different level in my own life? But yeah, okay, so very cool. Yeah. This is so relevant. How do you get kids to actually share and stop bickering over the same thing?
Mm-hmm. And there's lots of creative ways you can do this as a parent, because again, as the parents of our own kids, we are ultimately the expert on being able to read and kind of gauge what's going to work and not work for our kids. Okay. But it's always helpful to get those extra tips and tools and try integrating them within the family. But for sharing,
life hacks.
Yeah, life hacks. I like that.
We love these life hacks.
Yeah. For the introducing sharing, though, it really starts with us. Again, like all the change really has to start with us. So we set a good example. Just like we take turns when the kids are babies, like hopefully taking turns changing the diapers, you know, lighten the load. And
we would take turns getting up at night with a crying baby.
Oh, that's
like
sweet.
I think what we did was we would take nights. Like, I'm on tonight. You can sleep all night long.
Aww.
And then the next night we would switch.
That's cool. That's very cool. Not every family has that, so that's nice.
And what we would do is we just play that old Air Supply song, "Even the Nights Are Better," when the baby was crying down the hall. I don't know if that helped or not. I don't know if that soothed the baby or not. But.
One.
Sorry, it's so random. Go ahead. Sorry.
One fun way you could do show sharing is through games. So with kids, so like people don't think about it, but hot potato, it's an easy, fun game to teach sharing. Because you're sitting in a circle and you're having to pass the object.
Oh, that's brilliant. I never thought of that. That's brilliant.
I mean, it's like you don't even think about that as sharing. But yeah, taking turns, if you're playing Uno. Again, when you introduce a game to your child, it's really most effective when you as the parent or babysitter can sit with them, because they're actually going to learn how to do this. Like handing them a game and telling them, okay, have fun, read the directions. Isn't always the greatest way to go, but if you can sit
taking
and demonstrate.
Turns is a form of sharing. You're sharing an activity together.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quality time, skill building. And plus, you know, your kids are going to grow up into adults, and eventually they're going to have to wait at a stoplight and take their turn. So
wait, our kids are going to grow up and turn into adults? That makes me
hope
sad about that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Makes me happy and sad at the same time.
Yeah. My kids go to high school next year. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So Luke,
I'm freaking out.
Luke, who's 3, we were going through the bedtime routine just like last night, I think, and he is like just nonchalantly, like it's no big deal, just sits down on the edge of his little bed and starts putting his own pajamas on. And I'm like, buddy, what are you doing?
Aww.
He's like, Daddy, I don't need your help. And I said,
you watch your mouth, young man. Yes, you do need my help.
I said, I'm so proud of you, buddy, but I was snipping a little tear back from the corner of my eye.
That's so true. When you notice your kids sharing, it's really important for us as parents to praise them for sharing. So if you're working on it, even when you're playing the hot potato game, maybe they're not getting it. Maybe they're working on coordination just to pass the ball to the next person. As soon as they get it, descriptively praise that you passed that over to your brother really well. Good job. Good sharing.
That's cool.
So add to that vocabulary so they start to identify an action with a word.
Sharing is a good thing.
Yes.
I get praised when I share.
Exactly.
That makes me want to share more often.
What's something you love to see your kids share, Cody?
Oh my goodness. I love to see them share basically just anything they're both into. They've long both been into dinosaurs. And every now and then we might only have one specific dinosaur that they're both interested in, and they need to take turns. And we have to go, okay, now it's Charlie's turn. Okay, well, now it's Henry's turn. That's kind of been modified into some technology, tablets.
Yep.
Sharing that back and forth. There's only one, but then they're like on top of each other. The other one's just watching the other one play. Like, okay, some space here, guys. Let's let each other breathe. We'll take turns. You go do something else, and then we'll switch.
Yeah, tablets
cool.
are a big one. Yeah,
that's cool.
Good.
One thing I've been noticing is sharing the attention of their friends.
Mm-hmm.
So little Luke, who I just mentioned, is 3. He's blessed with a wonderful big sister and big brothers, but. So the neighbor girl's the same age as his sister, so they're both late grade school. And I have to say, she has really done a great job, and I've told her I appreciate this, at more and more of letting Luke play with them when they're outside doing stuff, and not kind of being, we'll get away, this is our girl time. And I have had other moments where I said, Lukey, sometimes girls need girl time.
Yep.
But it's beautiful to see when she does such a nice job. She says it will include him in the game.
That's very cool.
That's
and
really cool.
I'm glad that you're already pointing out that girls need girl time and guys need guy time.
I didn't know that until I got married 5 years ago, but now I realize that myself. Girls need girl time.
Yeah, that's great. I love that you guys are actively doing this with your kids to encourage sharing.
You're rubbing off on us, Trish.
Yay. I'm sure you already had this, though.
Yes, there was some of it there. There was some of it.
But it's okay to back up the instructions of sharing. If your kid's not sharing and you've already practiced and you know they know how to share, it's okay to have a logical consequence to deal with the misbehavior of not sharing or being greedy. So, for example, my kids are older. So the same techniques, like even as they get older as teenagers, there's times I have to remind them to share. So the front seat has been a big deal for forever.
Ooh, shotgun.
Yes. So last year I was done with it. I'm like, I cannot handle you guys fighting every single time we have to go to the store, and then when we get back out of the store, and when we get back to the house. I'm like, it's like if you're making 3 stops, that's like 6 different opportunities for them to argue. So I'm like, okay, here's the deal. Every single time we stop, no matter the distance, you'll switch spots. Like, that was the rule. So then they're like, okay, well then I don't remember. So one day they started bickering over it, and I'm like, oh, we need to modify this, guys. We're going to modify this.
Yes.
It's too much work to be the referee of that game.
Yes. So our new deal is, okay, every time you stop, you switch spots. If you argue over it or bicker even for like 3 seconds, you have both forfeited your right to the front seat, and you're both in the back seat. So that's our logical consequence for the front seat. This was just last year. My kids are teenagers. It only took them a couple times of mom backing up that consequence, saying, nope, you're fighting. But mom, nope, doesn't matter. Love
now you're
you.
fighting with
back
me.
Seat. Back seat.
They still switch seats every time you stop.
Yeah.
Except now they run around the car and yell, Chinese fire drill, in the other seats.
So now they just naturally switch and take care of it themselves.
Cool.
And my
cool.
mom was just telling me, because my little sister's the same age, that every time they go over to her house for the weekend, that they do the same thing, even with my baby sister.
Oh, wow.
And they just automatically rotate. And she asked me, she's like, why are they doing that? I've never seen kids do that. I'm like, Cha-ching! I have trained them well.
Very cool. Very cool. So the highlights for me, and your kids are squabbling, as all kids do at times. They struggle with, especially when they're younger. And so one is, I love that concept. Make a game that helps teach sharing. Use games like Hot Potato, and then also consequences that I know, and this is, I need to remind myself that you need to be consistent with. My wife is better at being consistent with the consequences, so that they avoid that and learn to share. So this is great stuff, Trisha. Yeah. So to everyone listening, and I know there's always new people, because there's new people discovering the WFRN family every week, thinking, this is good stuff. Where do I find out more? Boy, is there more. There is a treasure trove of resources available at your website.
Yes, PPLCartCounty.org. Please send us some emails. Find us on Facebook. Go through WFRN's Facebook. Yeah, we'd love to connect with you. If you have questions, please send them my way. I will answer them. And if there's something you'd love to hear on air, I would love to know what that would be so I can chat about it with you guys.
And feel free, maybe if you don't even have a question, you can share a story. Maybe about something that's been helpful that you have done that might be helpful for someone else to know about. And it's like, we could do that too. So
totally.
We're talking about sharing.
Please share with us.
Share with us. Share with Triple P what you've learned and what you've been doing too.
And live events. I know this is becoming a very busy time of the year. Sometimes that gets you back into the groove and you realize you can benefit from one of these events. But what's going on? We've
got some seminars happening at the CAPS here in Elkhart. Goshen Community Health and the Elkhart Public Library is hopping up and doing some events again for us. So those are just 3 locations.
Always free, always encouraging. Find out more at PPLCartCounty.org or on Facebook. Look up P Elkhart County. Thank you, Trish.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Trish.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.